Some experts have warned that the removal of Emmerson Mnangagwa as Zimbabwe's vice president might unite the forces that are militating against the country's current leadership. They even predict that it might unite Mnangagwa with other former state vice president Joyce Mujuru. Mnangagwa is nicknamed Ngwena, or Crocodile. This has seen his political stock plummet in the last few months on accusations by party rivals that he was plotting to get President Robert Mugabe to step down in his favor. He has denied the accusation. Well, joining us now on the line is a Zimbabwean author and academic, Professor Ibbo Mandaza, to look at the latest political developments in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Dr. Mandaza. Perhaps you can just give us a sense of what's been happening today. Yesterday was the shock news. People didn't know quite how to react. It's been 24 hours. What's the mood like in Harare today?
It's calm. I think that Zimbabwe have gone through this before. There was a bigger purge in 2014 when our Vice President Joyce Mujuru, 9 provincial chairpersons, some 7 ministers, several deputy ministers, MPs. There was a major carnage in 2014. So that went, of course, it will have had some impact on ZANU-PF and the state.
So is there nothing different about this current scenario?
Not really. Not really, because I think some of them were expecting for a long time. To a bit of time, it was just that the extent to which it took long to happen suggested that, unlike the case of Joyce Mujuru, Robert Mugabe and his supporters had to be more careful as how they dealt with Emmerson Mnangagwa. In the case of Joyce Mujuru, once her husband was killed in 2011, so the easy picking, so to speak. I think Emmerson Mnangagwa was viewed as much more formidable. But as happened yesterday, he's gone.
But Dr. Mandaza, but this time around we had the chief of the army being brought into the equation, seemingly being fired and seemingly refusing to be fired. Doesn't that heighten this particular situation much more than the time that Vice President Mujuru was fired?
You know, I think that was largely fake news that was published on the internet. There was no such happening at all.
All right. So,
in fact,
all right. So let's be clear. Are you saying that the army is fully behind President Robert Mugabe, that it is business as usual since the firing of Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa?
Yes, I'm saying it's largely business as usual. I think that the history of the army and the security forces, contrary to popular speculation and media hype, is largely in the barracks in Zimbabwe.
So does
I think people are saying more what they want to see happen rather than what is really happening on the ground.
So does this pave the way then for the president of the Women's League, the First Lady, to become deputy president of the party and of the country?
Well, I don't think so. I doubt that very much. If that were to happen, I think it would be, as one of my colleagues said a week ago, a titanic mistake on the part of the ruling party. I don't think that she's such an ambitious. I think, on the contrary, she sees herself as the other side of the coin of the president. She declared on Sunday that Mugabe is anointed by the Almighty, and by implication that likewise she too is anointed. So I think she thinks she's really on top of the world right now, and need not be demoted to the position of vice president. I think she believes she's riding high and is more or less a maker in the process.
All right, she's saying that there should be a call for a female vice president. Who can get in her way ascending to that position?
Yeah, but I think one must listen very carefully what she said. She said, yes, there should be a female vice president. Not to mention the fact that as way back as 1999, the ZANU Women's Congress resolved that there should be a female vice president. And you know that Joyce Mujuru was elected on that basis. And the constitution was rather unceremoniously changed in 2014. Changed in order to remove Joyce Mujuru, who was riding high and was had the foot into the presidency as a potential successor. So now what's happening now is that resorting back to the old position where the female vice president is a requirement. So, but I don't think she wants to be a vice president. I think she will gather the demotion. I think they will find someone else to be elected as such in a month's time.
All right, and then perhaps finally, are you saying that this is the end of Emmerson Mnangagwa's political career? He'll just quietly disappear now that he's been removed?
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. In the same way that it was very much the end of the road for Joyce Mujuru in ZANU-PF. And I doubt that he can... I think if we saw the attitude of Mugabe was actually to encourage him to form a party. I think the precedent in ZANU-PF has been that once a fired member of the party forms a party, that's the end of him or her. And there's precedent in the history of ZANU-PF. You had my old man Edgar Tekere, you had Joyce herself trying it. I think basically to the extent that the state remains largely intact and that the party fragments in the manner that it has in 2014 and now, I think it appears to me that the powers that be appear confident that they can ride the storm. More than that, I think, as far as I'm concerned, I think we are in the final stages of the Mugabe era. And with the departure of Emmerson Mnangagwa, particularly, who has been part of the architecture of the securocrat state, I think we are seeing inadvertently a major development in the history of Zimbabwe, with the decline and demise of the state as we have known it before. We are in the final stages of the Mugabe era, no doubt about that.
And what's next then?
What's next?
Yes.
Watch the space, as they say. Watch the space, as they say. I think that we, as historians, we are experiencing the winds of change. We're going through a tremendous change process, which is at once exciting for those of us who are historians and political analysts. And history is made of that change, dynamics. Yes, I think we're over the hill.
Okay.
We are in for better times, no doubt about that.
Dr. Mandaza, thank you very much indeed for your insights this evening. That was Ibbo Mandaza speaking to us from Harare and giving us an interesting view. On the one hand, he says, we've seen this all before when Joyce Mujuru left. This is the end of Emmerson Mnangagwa, so it's business as usual in terms of the way Robert Mugabe is running the country. But at the same time, he says that the winds of change actually are blowing across Zimbabwe and that this is a turning point and that there's something that is happening and we should watch this space to see what happens next. We take a quick break.